Okay, I'm here. Good to go?
1 second. Let me turn off the AC. Okay, great.
You turned off the AC. I didn't know how long you were going to be gone.
It's right there. No, I had to. I live in Phoenix, so I had to turn off. I had to put on the AC the second I could and turn off the last second before I. It's I just need to test the audio real quick, make sure it's saved.
It gets like real cold at night out there, right? And it's like real hot during the day and then real cold at night.
I wish it was real cold at night.
Mm.
Not that kind of desert. That's like Saudi Arabia.
I know it's like that in. I know some people that live in. Thing about that the front. Yep. Fuck's it called?
For in the nights, trying to get this girl to fall in love with. Okay.
Albuquerque.
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 All right, I am recording, so I guess as soon as you're ready there, we are good to go.
I am good to go.
Oh, is that it? We're just live again?
Yeah.
I expected like a theme song intro. Let me play.
Oh, you'll have to make one. When you make a theme song, then we can do that.
Okay. This is not the one I want to play. This is the one.
You're traveling through another dimension, a dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. That's a signpost up ahead. Your next stop, dark territory.
I know she's not deaf or dumb or retarded or anything.
Loitering in Wonderland, the Twilight Zone review.
Hello, citizens. Welcome to LIW, the Twilight Zone review, episode 165 for 509 Probe 7 over and out. I am Phoenix West, joined by
Adam Wilcox.
Sorry, I threw a curveball in there by saying joined by. My bad. I don't plan anything out. I just do.
That's the beauty of live streaming, baby.
Watch the beautiful visage of my face, and you interpret when I'm pausing for you to speak. It's so unfair. But today we are sans Frank. We are with Adam, and we're for the best, right? I think we're in the best shape we've ever been. We're live on YouTube. We don't have Frank. There's no anchors. We can continue to go across the ocean. Just keep going. Frank's not like throwing out fucking anchors, like pulling us back. Like, hey, let's talk about science and the moon. We just keep going. I'm only saying this because he's listening right now.
He's like right in the chat, dude.
No, that's why I'm doing this. But Adam, today is Probe 7 over and out, and you have a fitting name for this episode. I wish my name was Phoenix Eve. So we have a romantic entwinement here, but here we are, Phoenix and Adam.
Yeah, well,
I let it down. Sorry. Should we go look for someone named Eve on here?
I've never met anyone named Eve, surprisingly. It would seem that maybe I should meet somebody named Eve, but
You have to.
never met one. I don't think I've ever even known an Eve passingly. So
Not a common name.
No, it isn't.
No.
Neither is Genevieve. That's kind of really not a popular name anymore either.
Genevieve? I know one.
Yeah. She's probably really old, right?
No.
Okay. Most of the Genevieves I've ever met are like really old ladies that like live in a nursing home.
She's probably 40.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty old.
No, that's not.
I'm 46.
Well, as much as we pretend like 46 is really old, it's not.
No.
It's middle-aged.
It is, but it isn't. Yeah.
Yeah, but nobody's naming their kids that anymore. We'll say
No.
that.
No.
But this episode, let's get into this episode. I need to move my shit around here so I can actually look at my notes. Because this episode I watched about, I'd say, 4 hours ago. And I kind of forgot what it was. And
There's a reason for that.
it's just an episode you watch. Like, how disappointed was I last week when we talked about it on the last episode, whatever the fuck that was. And I was like, oh, it's that Adam and Eve episode. I knew then our first live YouTube episode would be a fucking bore. Then I watched the episode, I go, oh, it's really going to be a bore. Because I have almost nothing to say about this episode. It is so middle of the road, boring.
Yes, it's what's fun about this is the contrast between this and the last show that we just watched.
Oh,
Both of those are very simple concepts. One of them is done perfectly. This concept is literally all it has to offer.
Yeah, and it's a concept that's revealed at minute 24 and a half. At the 25 episode, like out of a 25-minute show, it's revealed last minute, and just like, anyway, get the fuck out of here. And even
this is the part where we're supposed to go, what?
Yeah, and even Rod Serling's like, oh, is it this or not? It doesn't matter anyway. Bye. Get the fuck out of here. Bye.
Smoke a cigarette, do a shot, go rub himself in some Vaseline, and play in the freeway. Yeah.
Exactly. It's an episode that is just there for novelty's sake. It's what I would say is it's a novelty episode. It has nothing to it. It's like trying to buy something great out of like a 99-cent store. You're kind of like, oh, this is okay. Like it works, but it's
trying to buy anything off a Wish. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Wish episode of the episode called 2. I think it's like episode 301. But at least that had Charles Bronson, and it had a little bit of war shit and like weird propaganda. This one just has a guy talking to his blank TV, and then he gets physically abused by a woman outside, but the motherfucker keeps going outside and getting abused. And I'm like, just stay inside, dude. Let her fucking go.
Can I just say that this guy is the absolute worst astronaut, even for like a bad like TV science fiction episode?
He might be. I think he's the worst because, okay, I guess we should set up this episode.
Yeah, set it up so they know what we're talking about.
Yes. So the guy his name is Adam Cook. He crash landed on a spaceship, and he has a uniform with 0 insignifications on where he's from. And he's talking to a TV, and the guy's like, he's from his planet, and he's like, which if you just heard what I said, how far I had to go out of my way to do it, you just realize what the end of the episode is. He's like, oh, our planets might be fucked, dude. But I love the fact that at the beginning of the episode, he goes, probe 7 to base, probe 7 to base. And base finally shows up on the screen and goes, probe 7, this is base. And I'm like, why are you saying it like that, you snarky fuck? Why he said it so weird.
I think that was that weird sci-fi speak from the 50s is what that was. Like whenever they were doing sci-fi, they had to be like, probe 17 to base, come in, over. Like they really got into their walkie-talkie speak.
The way you said it, though, makes sense. I'm saying the inflection. He didn't go, probe 7, this is base. Inflection on base. He goes, probe 7, this is base.
It was very obviously awkwardly filmed in 2 different places.
Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Of course, this is base, motherfucker.
No, this is Baskin Robbins. The fuck did you think this was?
This is the Haagen-Dazs by the I-17 off the freeway there. What's going on there? What can I help you with? Like, I'm looking for a NASA base. And he's like,
It's the Bada Bing strip club. Who the fuck are you, Paulie Walnuts or something?
This is the fucking Bada Bing base. What the fuck do you want? You want me to say you want a free base out in the parking lot? That's what Joey's doing right now. He's got to get back into the shift in 7 minutes. I'm not covering him another one. He already covered him for 3 times this week, motherfucker. Like what the fuck is going on? Why is base so fucking snarky? They work for NASA, I assume, or whatever version of NASA. The guy's not.
These people he works for are assholes, man.
I didn't realize how fucking angry I was going to be till right now. This is what we mentioned earlier. We were talking in text before the show. I don't know why the guy's so fucking snarky. Why he's like, yeah, this is base, motherfucker. Why you just get to the point already? You got me. What do you want? What do you want to do? Why are we talking over a video radio? Why is there video on this place? How advanced is this place? Not Earth, by the way. It's not Earth.
See, he's crash landed on some fucking planet, and base is just not cooperating with him at all because they're in the middle of a war on the planet he comes from.
Yep. He landed. Oh, I'll let Rod describe it here in a second.
Oh, cool.
But the ship is fucked. He's like, oh, the ship isn't working. I can't really fix it because I have a broken arm and a sling. I'm 57 years old. I don't really have that much, stamina to fix a fucking entire.
He's an astronaut with a beer gut.
Yeah, I don't really. And I mentioned he mentions later. I don't. What's he say? I don't have the proclivity for isolation or being solitary confinement. I'm like, then why did you agree to be the
you became an astronaut?
You're one astronaut in a pod, dude, going several million miles away from your planet. Why the fuck are you doing this then? If that's your fear.
How did he get the job? Did he just like answer an ad in the fucking column in the newspaper, like the one ads? He's like, well, astronaut, fucking nobody else will do it. So pays really shitty, but it's got good benefits. Yeah,
exactly. I'm scared of tarantulas, but I will never respond to a Craigslist ad where it's like, get dunked in a tank of tarantulas for 30 cents an hour, and I'll be like, yeah, and then I'll bitch about it. Yeah, it's great. No, I'm gonna stay the fuck away from that. I'm probably gonna call the cops on that dude because why do you have so many tarantulas to fill a tank? You got something else going on there I don't want to be a part of. What the fuck? See, this is the difference between me hating something and me liking something. So the last episode had a very different vibe of Tales of the Crypt.
You never know where these are gonna go.
Yeah. But let's just get to Rod's intro here, and then we'll break that down here. I don't know how queued up this is because I don't have subtitles on, but let's see where it is. All right, a little early, no big deal, right? NBD. He's about to kick in here, Mr. Sterling. He's trying to fix his fucked up ship.
That's a possibility. One Colonel Cook, a traveler in space. He's landed on a remote planet several million miles from his point of departure. He can make an inventory of his plight by just one 360-degree movement of head and eyes. Colonel Cook has been set adrift in an ocean of space in a metal lifeboat that has been scorched and destroyed and will never fly again. He survived the crash, but his ordeal is yet to begin. Now he must give battle to loneliness. Now Colonel Cook must meet the unknown. It's a small planet set deep in space, but for Colonel Cook, it's the Twilight Zone.
Spooky, spooky. So he's in space. He's several million miles away. I guess it's was it Alpha Centauri or whatever the fuck that is? That's what that.
If he said where he was, I did not pick up on it. I was kind of hoping maybe he would give it. He's like, well, I'm exactly so many light years away from the outside of my galaxy. So yeah, you're probably right. Where you were
supposed to be 5.3 light years.
I'm glad you were doing the math on that because I'm just like, okay, so
IMDb trivia did the work for me.
You're in interstellar bumfuck Egypt. Got it.
And if I could be so bold, Frank's not here, so we don't have to deal with a bunch of scientific nada bullshit. Blah blah blah. He's this many miles away. The trajectory and blah blah blah. And he's blah blah blah. And I read this article where blah blah blah. Love you, Frank. We don't have to deal with that though. This is what you get when you don't show up. Okay, this is what you deal with when you're not here. Punctuality is very important for a podcast, and we are. I don't want to say struggling with you. I think we're flourishing, but you're not here, so we're gonna make fun of you. That's gonna happen. Here he is. I was coaxing him out when he finally ducked his head out from the bush on this planet of Earth. I hate this fucking episode. I don't hate it.
I mean, I'm glad that you don't like this episode because we were kind of joking. We try not to like reveal our reviews of the episode before we do the show, like try to save all that for the podcast, right? So I'm like, if he likes this one, I'm like, I really don't really have a lot to grasp onto here. So go ahead, continue setting it up.
Well, if I did like it, I would say it. But I like parts of it, like him having to deal with the situation. It's not Frank said, "LOL, it's not fault I'm not there," whatever that means. Do with that what you will, dyslexic people who listen to the show. But I will just say, it's not. I like part of this episode. I like when he's in his ship. I like that he's fucked, and I like that he has to explore this planet. But I don't like where it goes because I don't. It doesn't matter to me, and it doesn't.
Okay, his ship is cool on the inside. On the outside, it looks exactly like that shit that Marvin Martian rides around in. But on the inside, it looks cool because it at least looks like believable technology for the time. There's a lot of wires hanging out. I like that they went out of their way to have like little things sparking and shit.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And on the outside, it looks like a bunch of cardboard slapped together, like some fucking shack and
Paper mache, dude.
Jamaica
Paper
or
mache.
something, like some slum somewhere. And he
It's
calls
such-
out there like some fucking chud baby, and he's like, "Nah, where's the humans I can
It
fuck?"
looked like that thing was having birth, and he just kind of shat out of the fucking
Yeah.
ball.
And it's weird. And he comes out, and he's just like, he's so ineffective on everything, and he's so low key that he's like a bass note you can't hear. The way he talks is like through his fucking lips in his mouth, and he's clearly dubbed over.
He's always angry too. He's like a real asshole to his superiors. Like if I talked to my boss like that, I would have been fired years ago.
The way he talks to the Eve character is, I'm gonna say really negative shit to you, but since you can't understand me, I'm gonna say it really calmly. I mean, it won't matter that what I'm saying. It's kind of like if someone I was speaking to someone that didn't speak English, I'm like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. That's great. Yeah. Oh, you're a real ugly bitch, aren't you? That's great." But I'm smiling, and it looked like I'm friendly, but I'm saying the most vain, or the most vicious shit to this person's face because he's going, "Ain't that man? We're all horrible. Humans are fucked. We're not human, but you know." People like me are garbage creatures, and men and women don't get along. It's your vagina that's causing you to punch me in the face and throw a loaf of bread at my head that looks like a rock. Yep.
The only cool thing is she did at least scratch him and leave fucking marks on the side of his face. Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess let's get there.
Yeah, let's just get there. This is going to be. I mean, this show is fucking ancient as shit. So it's not got the gist is he crash lands on this planet. They're Adam and Eve. That's the fucking episode. That's really it. And everything hangs on that. And they're not terribly clever about getting there.
No, it's boring as hell. I like when he's talking to Earth, or what we think is Earth, because the whole premise is we think he came from Earth, which is just like the Invaders and episodes like that.
Right. That's when it's still at least trying to be clever, but it kind of gives up on that a little too soon, in my opinion.
Yeah, the first half of the episode is just him talking to the planet, Houston as we think of it, and Houston's like, "Oh, what's he say? He says a quote like, "If we have war within the next few hours," and I'm like, "If you have war within the next," that is a very specific timeline to have war, and
the entire seaboard in exactly 12 minutes. Like,
the guy's
you stop to look at your stopwatch.
He's got powers because it happens, and the next time he leaves the ship and he comes back in and he talks to him a little bit more, and then Houston, Space Houston, is like, "There's bombs that landed 400 miles from the base, so we assume we're going to get blown up." And so it's just like the war or the bombs are coming closer and closer to Mystery Houston, where the fuck this takes place.
All this is done in exposition too. You don't like hear any air raid sirens going off or see anything shaking. He's just explaining everything. Now they're going to do that. You may as well have been watching War of the Worlds on a radio. Yes. I mean, since that was clever. Yeah.
You don't have Orson Welles to describe.
Yeah, that was, at least that had Orson Welles. Yeah.
This had, okay, I'm getting the position here. The bombs have landed 400 miles away. We fear they might land near us soon. So you're probably on your own. So you might be the only human left. It's breaking up, Adam. We can't see you. Fucking that boring, that flat. Just nothing happening. And then one time, if you notice, one guy walks back behind the guy in the background. And that's it. That's the most they could spur for that scene. Was one guy going, "We're on the clipboard walking by." I was like, "Oh God, it's so boring."
You know what this reminded me of? This is almost like the exact opposite of that Ridley Scott movie, The Martian, where, what's his name? Matt Damon is just like way too super resourceful and a go-getter and just absolutely refuses to give up. But it's not a bad movie because you're with it because you see the guy's at least trying. This guy here, he gave up like within seconds of making the first phone call. I mean,
yeah,
he's got a sling over his arm. He's like, hey, everything's all fucked up. I don't know what to do. I'm a terrible astronaut.
To be fair, Matt Damon's thing exploded. He wasn't like in a crash. He was already on Mars established. This guy crash landed, so I get it. So he does.
But at least Matt Damon's endeavor to persevere is like, unmatched. This guy here, it's like, it's amazing he gets out of bed in the morning without stabbing himself.
Yeah, Matt Damon was like, I'm going to live no matter fucking what. I'm going to science the shit out of this. I think it's a quote. I'm going to make
what he said. Yep.
I'll make my turd potatoes. I'll live off my own diarrhea potatoes.
Potatoes.
And then I'm going to survive no matter fucking what. And this guy's like, well, like I got a sprain in my elbow, so I don't have a shotgun here to blow my brains out. What do you want me to do, NASA? What do you want me to How do I hang myself with the sling? And he's like, luckily he doesn't have like suicide for dummies in front of him.
Emergency suicide kit.
Yeah, he'd be dead. Like
it's got like a little baggie of Tide Pods in there. Just eat them.
He's got like the abortion machine from Prometheus, and he just jumps in there. He's like, what can you do about a 53-year-old abortion? What can you do about that? Is there anything you can do retroactively? Do I have to override your commands? And that because it seems like he's given up completely, but the guy on Earth, or the planet as they call it, is going, you're the only one that's going to live. We're all going to die. So really, this is best case scenario for you. We just wish we sent you off with some warm hole you could fuck to breed new people.
Look, Deus Ex Machina.
What, are you going to fuck the wall right now? Because I deposit your sperm into the wall and hopefully someone comes along and slips on that shit and gets pregnant. Because that's the plan as of now. So go find what you can fuck on that planet and just like throw it in whatever. If you find a tree that can be pregnant by you, go ahead and fuck it. Because I have no other plan, dude. But anyway, bye. We're getting bombed.
Yeah, some of the explanation is really bad. But what really started to make me angry very early on in this episode was he hears a noise outside. And rather than try to exercise any kind of caution, and I was having flashbacks to yet another, I'm going to make another movie reference. Have you ever seen Robin Crusoe on Mars?
No, that is on my list to watch.
Way better Martian way better astronaut than this fucking guy. Because he's like, hello, anybody? Come and shoot me. Come and rape me in the face and impregnate me with aliens. Hello.
And bring along my robot doppelganger where I'll fight in the 7th franchise sequel of it.
I've been here for all of 23 minutes and I don't want to be here alone.
I could be on this planet alone for the rest of my life, and I probably wouldn't even notice. This guy's like, I just crash landed. I haven't talked to anybody about nonsense in 23 minutes, and it's over. I'm gonna hang myself.
This guy goes from 0 to absolute fuck it in like seconds, man. It's hard to rally behind this guy at all, and it's embarrassing because he shares the same name as me. Damn it, he gives Adams all over the world a bad name. Fuck this guy.
Saying a lot, considering.
So, the funniest part is he says hello, and then all of a sudden he gets hit right in the head with a fucking rock, and he falls down. I laughed pretty hard when that part happened because I wanted to throw the rock myself.
He barely gets down a slight hill.
He falls down the hill like he may as well have been wearing high heels.
He basically went like downhill skiing in his shoes, like just slid down the dirt. And then he's like, because he heard the noise, he went outside. And I did where I would hit play and pause like within seconds, like because I wanted to see what the fuck hit him.
I had to back up too. I'm so glad you said that because I'm like, wait a minute, how did he get hurt this time? Like, did somebody shoot him or they play that dramatic sting like dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
you know.
But I was going like this, where I'm texting you beforehand, trying to set this all up, and I was like, "Oh, this okay? He's down. What the fuck?" And I rewound, and I play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, and I was like, "That looks like a piece of bread." And I'm like, "This guy's so fucking weak and willing to die. He's like, I'm gonna get knocked out by bread, like a good hearty rye bread."
Death by croutons, oversized croutons.
4-day-old rye bread's gonna knock me out because I have given up on living. And Matt Damon's over here making turd potatoes and living, and this guy can't do a goddamn thing. He barely got down that little slight decline of dirt, and then he gets knocked out by a piece of fucking sourdough bread, and then he just wakes up back up and goes back inside and talks to fucking NASA again, and then because that's all he doesn't go like, who the fuck. He's just like, hey, oh, nobody's there. And then he hears the recording about basically the planet he came from going, oh, we're fucked. Don't give in the hate. Anyway, bye.
Messages, references. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he hears a noise outside, goes out again. He does like a little girly jaunt where he's like, he runs up to someone, finds out it's a girl, and she's got a little mud on her face. And then he grabs her by the goddamn leg and like drags her like a caveman, like he's mine now. And he drags her back wherever the hell he is. And then I don't know what he was gonna do to her.
The only thing he was missing was that Flintstone club. Like,
yeah, I rape now. That's what it seemed like to me. Instead, he's like, let's have a conversation about how we don't understand each other and therefore can't have a conversation. But let's have a conversation nonetheless. I didn't understand anything because it was so fucking pointless. Because he's speaking English. Obviously, for us, the viewer, we speak English here in America. Don't know if you know that or not. But she's speaking literally backwards English. I don't know if you caught that, Adam. The words
I picked up on that, and I was also having flashbacks to yet another better episode of this where, and you'll probably remember the name of it because you're better at the names of Star Trek Next Generation episodes. It's one of my favorites. It's the one where it's literally just Picard and this one guy trying to understand what each other is saying. Like it sounds like he speaks in like fragments or, I
don't know the name of the episode.
Damn it! But you know which one I'm talking about, right? It's
I know the episode. I don't. Star Trek Next Generation. I don't know the episode names.
Okay, you're a little bit better with the older ones, but yeah, somebody in the comment section will probably remind me of which episode that was. But I always write it down and then I fucking forget about it anyway because, like I said, I'm terrible at names. But the entire episode is Picard and this guy. This guy is injured and he's trying to tell Picard about his traditions, and Picard's trying to tell him, and they start off enemies, realizing they don't understand each other, and the whole thing is about learning to communicate. It's like what he says, they speak in like fragments, and it sounds like gibberish to us, but that's their language, and
yeah, there's a movie called 13. What the fuck is the name of that movie? With the Spanish sex hunk from the 90s.
The 13th Warrior.
13th Warrior. Remember
Yes,
they're on that boat ride across the ocean, even though it's not it's a canoe. How are they going across the ocean? But whatever. And throughout you see him watching it, and you hear gibberish, and eventually it starts to like slowly become English.
Mm-hmm.
They also did the same thing in that Tom Cruise Nazi movie that Bryan Singer directed, where he's speaking German in the beginning, and it slowly turns into English.
They also did that in A Hunt for Red October.
Interesting. I haven't seen that movie in a while. You just
it's
got Frank Hart on there mentioning a submarine movie.
Hey, Frank was long, hard, and full of semen.
Frank. So let's talk about the episode a little more here. So Earth is fucked. He talks to the girl, and instead of being like, I had so many issues with the way he drew in the dirt because he went outside the first time and he got hit with the bread and saw she drew something in the ground. So he's talking to her and he's like, I'm from this planet. I flew out of my solar system. And he draws a line around the planet. And I'm like, that looks like nothing, dude. Like you could say, draw a planet and go this and point it like around, like this is this planet.
That's what I'm saying, man. This guy's astronaut skills, his astronaut skills are awful. It's like they must have hired this guy from the astronaut temp agency. Like there was nobody available that day. He was a substitute, and he got stuck doing this fucking job that he didn't want to do.
Yes, and it's like he never on his planet. Everyone speaks the same language, so he's never had to like kind of pantomime a conversation.
He never even played charades.
Yeah, that doesn't speak his language, so he's going circle, and then he draws a little. We went out of trajectory, and it crash landed. But he doesn't draw crash landed. He just goes, "We crash landed. What about you?" And she's like, draws the exact same thing. She's like, "What happened to your ship? Your ship?" And he does like fucking dolphin thing, and she's like, hits the dirt, like she's trying to fuck up that planet.
If you would have muted it, it would have looked like he was trying to explain to her what the birds and the bees are. It's like, okay, here's where the eggs are fertilized, and here's the fallopian tube.
Get in that son bitch.
I'm
gonna grow within you.
This is me. This is my sperm, and this is your eggs.
Yeah. Anyway, eat the apple. Don't worry about that fucking snake or whatever that tells you. Didn't go that far with the biblical.
They didn't even have a snake.
No,
I felt robbed that there was no snake
beforehand. They cut off beforehand. We don't get to see that yet. We know we all read the Bible, so we know where that's going.
He could have at least given us a snake. Even a bad snake would have given us something.
They give us so much other bullshit and hints that what's going on. Like, let me look at my notes real quick because we are. But I guess my point is he's drawing little doodles and he's like frustrated and doesn't understand that she doesn't know English or speak his language when he's several million miles away from his planet. And I'm like, if I crash landed with someone on Earth, if I just like went up in the air in the atmosphere and then landed somewhere on Earth and it was random and I spoke English and they're like, and I wouldn't be like, how do you know? Like, the odds of landing on Earth and someone knowing your language is pretty slim. The fact that you're millions of miles away and you're talking to a literal alien at that point. Why the fuck would they know what you're saying? Why are you upset about that fact? This guy is the worst astronaut I've ever seen in my fucking life.
He's probably never even been to Walmart. I mean, nobody speaks English at Walmart, but I'm not going to lose my shit every time that the checkout lady can't say thank you in English. I mean,
I wouldn't know what you're talking about because I have not been to a checkout in Walmart in can't tell you how long. They have tough checkout for that exact reason, so you don't look at the person.
You've been tricked into using the self-checkout.
I have not been tricked. I have been rewarded by not having to talk to that fucking person. I'm not doing it. No.
But then again, you're not an astronaut, so you shouldn't have to. It's okay if you get upset. If you're an astronaut, you need to have there needs to be this space program. No wonder they all went to war because their space program is a fucking pile of shit. Obviously, they have no pre-qualifications, no trials, no exercises, none of that. I mean, this is at least there was a space program when this show was put into play. So we know that astronauts did train. I mean, there have been episodes of Twilight Zone that at least have a little bit more believable astronaut than this chucklefuck.
Chuckle fuck indeed. Indeed, sir. I left my wine glass in the bathroom between our shows. And so I just have to drink out of the bottle now, I guess.
This show is making you angry. It's just giving you bad habits.
Well, I just picture like talking to someone at Walmart that doesn't speak English and you going like, I'm from this. I flew off my trajectory. Do you have stamps? Like, what does this have to do with
fuck you? I pay you, you put in carts.
If you don't get me stamps to send in mail, I'm going to fist you so fucking hard. Give me that
this coupon, 75% off.
Like, he does that. He goes, are you or 3, 4, 5, 6?
I was just waiting for him to go like this and get it over with.
Where he's like, he's trying to hint at anal, where he's like, you and me. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. And she's just like, and then he sees on board with that. Yeah. You're not on board? Okay, bye. I don't care if the race dies. Don't care. It's not what the Bible's all about.
But she must be horny because eventually she comes back.
Well, this is when she scratches him, where he picks up a stick, his walking stick, because he has a fucking shattered leg or something. And she's like, no, no, or in her language, on, and then he drops the stick and he's like, no, we're fine. And she goes, motherfucker, ah! And it scratches his cheek. It's the worst stunt I've ever seen. She comes nowhere near him, and he's like, oh, and it cuts, and you can tell it's like half an hour later where they drew a little bit of blood here.
Well, you seen how fragile this fuck. If you blew on him, he'd probably paralyze him for the rest of his life. You know,
Yeah,
he just fall over like.
He must be anemic or something, because that's never gonna heal. It's never gonna clot. That guy's dead from that scratch. He's got to get this girl preggers as quick as possible. And I hate to tell him, but the way he's trying to flirt with her with the, it's not going to get pregnant.
No.
But he goes inside because he recoils like a fucking, like he came into his shell, and he's like, oh, she scratched me. I'm going back to my ship. He goes inside. She eventually is waiting outside his ship like a real fucking stalker. Like, take a fucking hint. This episode works for me better as like a warning against physical violence in relationships than it does about like biblical allegory or anything like that.
Yep.
It's because she beats the shit out of him. She knocked him out with a rock and then scratched his face.
This episode is the other reason, other than Harvey Weinstein, why there's a Me Too movement going on.
It is
because this episode is proof.
She's violent. She is a violent sociopath. And he's out of options for warm holes in this planet. So he's like, comes outside again. He's like, oh, you're here. Cool. Whatever. Let's do this. All right. And he talks to her some more, and they kind of walk off. And he holds up some dirt, and he's like, what do you call this? And she's like, eat. And he's like, no, don't eat the fucking dirt, bitch. What is wrong with you?
So dumb, dude.
Holding soil. Don't eat the soil. Do I really have to explain this to you? Oh, you're asking if I thought I was telling you to eat this. Okay. And she walks over and she's kind of playing with the dirt. And she's just like, earth. He goes, all right, we'll call it Earth.
Ta-da!
How else can we make this very obvious? Oh, I have a broken rib. I guess we'll have to have children now. Maybe Cain and Abel, perhaps? Maybe? How else can we spell this out for the audience? Oh, I'm Adam. I have a broken rib, and suddenly you're here.
I'm Adam Cook.
Yeah. And she's like, Eve, whatever her fuck her last name is.
Navi.
Yeah, it wasn't far off.
It was bad, dude. Because this is one of those ones where you go, you just want to get up and walk away.
It's at the end where it's like, he's Adam, she's Eve, he has a missing rib, they're going to a garden. She gives him a fucking apple, and he's like, what's this? And she says apples backwards. And then he's like, all right, I'll eat it. Good. This is a good garden. Where are we? And then fucking Rod kicks in here at the very end. Which just in
case you don't know, just to regurgitate what you just saw.
Yeah, I'm going to play it right now. We'll see where Rod kicks in here. Should be shortly after this. Let's see. Right about here-ish, I'll say. We don't have Frank for our audio clips.
Do you know these people? Names familiar, are they?
Yeah.
They lived a long time ago.
Did they?
Perhaps they're part fable.
Great.
Perhaps they're part fantasy.
Oh, great too.
And perhaps the place they're walking to now is not really called Eden. We offer it only as a presumption. This has been the Twilight Zone.
That's a fucking cop-out. That's a fucking cop-out. Adam.
I mean, you could have at least given us a snake, man. You know, it's I don't know. It's Adam and Eve, but Adam came from space and so did she, and then they just landed on Earth, and that's how creation was started. We there was a better shows that did this story. It's called Battlestar Galactica. Way better version of this shit.
Way more Christian though.
Yeah, true. It was a lot more religious, but it had a lot better character development and pacing, and wasn't so like blatantly on the nose. But yeah, it's hard to get invested in anything going on here. But the whole shtick that this is Earth is all this show has to offer. There's no build up. There's no tension. It's not terribly clever. It's the exact opposite of what we just saw from I never thought that I'd get to the point where I'm like, wow, we saw a good Tales from the Crypt episode. But we did. We saw like a really good one.
Yeah.
And then a really bad Twilight Zone. I feel like I'm in Bizarro world right now.
Okay. So it's interesting to hear you say that. I agree. Tales from the Crypt today was way better than Twilight Zone. I mean, we don't really talk about one show and the other as far as episode.
I'm sorry.
We're on YouTube Live. No, you're good. But we're on YouTube Live now. This is a good time to bring it up. So if you want to check out this show, we are now live on YouTube for LIW Twilight Zone Review, as well as LIW Tales from the Crypt Review on Adam's channel, Raiders of the Lost Flicks. Go ahead and check that on YouTube. We're live on Tuesday nights. But it brings me to something Frank set up for this show. Frank's not here because he's a piece of shit. So let's talk about what Frank set up, which is he wanted to start talking about, he mentioned in the last episode where a tableau of reality from Twitter is, he wants to kind of start bringing up some of their tweets. So this is a tableau of reality at Gregory Tyson 13, just like it sounds. And I messaged him earlier and I'm like, we're doing this episode tonight. What do you want to say about it? And he kind of, he said he's going to throw up a poll. And I do have the results of that poll as of right now. Let me refresh in case there's anything new coming in.
You want to do a share screen for that?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do
right.
that. It'll be on this one. Let me see. Since we are in a video, I'm not used to that. Okay.
All these fun things that you can do.
Yay. Okay, so it's going to be part of my screen, so not the whole fucking thing, so deal with that. What do you give Twilight Zone's Probe 7 over and out? For me, it's middle of the road, maybe as middle of the road as season 5 got. It's 2 Redux, the episode 2, wordier. This is Serling, and absent the immersive world building, but it should be noted the lead sprouts Serling like a G. And then I voted, there's, he basically is what's the grade, A, B, C, D. 15% said A, 65% said B, 20% said C, 0 for D, even though it has something on the bar graph here. Whatever. Seems like 0% would have nothing, right?
I don't know.
I guess you got to say.
I don't understand how these our Twitter things work.
You just vote. That's it. But you think with 0 it would have nothing there, but I guess it's just the starting line. But so 65% B. I gave this a C, where I go, there's some of this episode I do like. Like D and below is the worst of the worst for me, though. So I give this a C, and hence the check mark. Where I like him in the episode and talking to the planet and stuff like that, and realizing he has to deal with this shit on his own. And how fucked he is. I like that stuff. The very, very end of it got really fucking dumb and obvious and way too biblical and biblical allegory, all that sort of shit. Way too on the nose. It reminded me, the beginning part reminded me a lot of the Jordan Peele episode, the 5 Degrees of Freedom, where the ship takes off and then Earth gets bombed to hell. Very similar to that. But unlike that episode, this one is a fucking slog. It's just like, oh, here we go. Oh, the Bible, great. And that episode went somewhere you didn't expect. I didn't love that episode, but I give that one a B. But this one just didn't really do much for me, but I didn't hate it. So, boo Rod. Frank said boo Rod. I like that Frank's. It's like his spirits here, like he's haunting us. Where he's not on the show, but I get to hear him chime in every once in a while.
The ghost of Frank. Yeah.
He's just haunting us.
I agree with what you're saying. I'm not completely turned off by the idea of what they're trying to do here. Like, it's a concept that could have worked. It's the complete execution that I have a problem with. It's not very, very well done. It's not terribly clever. It's a little too. It assumes that its audience is a lot dumber than we really are, and it's like, dude, you're on season 5. Most of your audience has watched all of the Twilight Zones up to this point. And back then, when science fiction came out, audiences were a lot smarter than they are now. Let's just face it. All right, let's call it like we see it.
I don't want to say smarter. I want to say more patient.
Patient. Didn't need as much. They didn't need as much hand holding, I think, is what I'm trying to get at. Yeah.
But being more patient led to them being smarter.
Yes.
I think it starts with the patience. I really do.
Yes.
Because if you're way too much of a fucking hurry, like nowadays, they can't focus on anything, you're not going to learn. So you're not going to absorb anything. So I don't think anyone. I think people as a whole are smarter now, but I think they're like our capacity for knowledge is bigger than it was then.
Education has gone this way. Patience has gone to this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why you lead to people like this, where it's like we have a specific show for specific people because that's what we grew up on. We're not going, here's 1990 as a whole. You know what I mean? We're not being very vague. We're going specific. You get these niche markets now. I just think people back then were way more patient. They weren't like, hurry up or get the fuck out of here because I have 2 other channels I can turn to.
You know what this feels like too? It feels like the original Planet of the Apes, the Charlton Heston one, if you would have skipped directly to the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but if you would just skipped right to the ending and made the episode out of the last 30 minutes of that show. Like it just that one little concept that's what
the movie's 52 years old. I think you can spoil it. Everyone knows the ending of that.
Yeah, movie. You know, so it's like it's like if you made a Twilight Zone episode about him just finding the Statue of Liberty. And you reveal that like about 50% of the way through. You know,
he revealed at the end that it's not supposed to be Earth that he came from.
They kind of did, but we saw it coming a long time ago. You know, pretty much as soon as he ran into her, I'm like, oh, that's going to be Eve, right? And they're okay.
Because my problem with the episode, if I could qualify it like this, isn't that it ends up being Adam and Eve, because it's just something, twist that doesn't really work for me. No harm, no foul, whatever. There's a lot of episodes that are like that. I don't hold that against it. I just think they need to have a secondary plot that you are being distracted with.
Yes.
And that, unfortunately, is not there, other than him giving up. But he gives up in scene 1. So therefore, by the time you get to the twist, you're already like expecting it because there's nothing else happening. There should be like, we need to build this. Oh, we have to overcome this. We have to do this. We have to do something other than drawing the fucking dirt with a stick.
I'm glad you brought up the distraction, because it's like a good magic trick. You know, to do the sleight of hand, you need to distract the audience. So this one is like trying to do a magic trick on stage, but showing everybody immediately how the trick is done.
It's
giving away a secret. Yeah.
Magician who forgot his coat and has no long sleeves. So you're just like, the ball. Oh shit! It dropped on the table, didn't it? Because it didn't go in my sleeve.
Hey, Amy Carter, welcome back. Yes, the Twilight Zone. This isn't the movie. This is the episode about Adam and Eve. That's what I call it. But yeah, it's Probe 7 over an hour.
Is Amy Carter 7 years old?
I don't know how old she is. Not really sure. She's one of my followers, but I'm
just asking.
No, I don't know how old she is. I don't usually ask people my age or their age because I don't want to have to reveal mine. So
the picture for Amy Carter, I'm like, this is a young person.
Could be a throwback picture for sure.
All right. Anyway,
but it does look like there's some pajamas on there. But the Twilight Zone movie is not bad. It's this episode is just kind of middle of the road. And something I wanted to bring up, and you and Frank had brought this up in previous episodes that were not aired on YouTube, is that sometimes having extra long seasons of a TV show results in episodes like this. So it's kind of, I like, like episodic type TV shows where each week is something different rather than just one ongoing story. I prefer that kind of entertainment. I like anthology movies as well, because when you do that, you trim off all of the fat and you have to get to the point. You have to tell your story. You're not doing that. But then when you have nothing else to go on, you have to make X amount of episodes in a series. You get episodes like this where probably they would have canceled this one, but this is like later in the season. So yeah, it's.
I'm getting text from Frank, who's already in the chat. Where do I begin with this?
Why aren't you on the show? So just
texting me
like in here.
Jealous girlfriend. Like, where are you? You're not really alone. You're not really doing a YouTube show. You're with Teresa, aren't you? Who the fuck is Teresa? I know you talked about Teresa. Like, what? Who? But he's in the chat and he's texting me, and What the fuck more do you want, Frank? You ditched us, and then you're fucking hounding me. What more do you want? What can I do? How can I please you in this scenario? You're making it sound like I left you. He just messaged me and says, a chick just asked a question in the chat. And I was like, I know, you're on a delay. We're already talking about this.
I haven't missed anybody in the chat.
Amy, you're awesome. Frank, what the fuck are you doing? God damn, dude. I wouldn't make fun of you this bad if you were on the show. So this is on you. And I'm sorry your work called you in, as you said. But you know, when you moonlight as a prostitute in the greater Philadelphia area, this is the kind of shit you got to deal with. When you're pimp like you got to come in, Frank. You got to come in, and they got to come in you. You got to come in, Frank. So I don't know what you want to do, man. And he's not responding, so I'm guessing he's checked out again.
Yeah.
Adam, this episode, the more I talk about it and the more I break it down, the more I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to be angry because I'm having.
You don't want to change your grade either. You're still sticking with C because, like I said, it's still Twilight Zone. It's still not the worst thing we've ever seen. We've seen Tales from the Crypt episodes way worse than this.
No, definitely.
And we've also seen Twilight Zones worse than this.
Well, I give it Twilight Zone. I think of he gave me a B, C, D. D has got to be the worst of the worst in this because he basically gave D the EF ranking. So when you kind of you take the basement level out of a house, I have to go with D being the worst of the worst, right? And so you're stuck with A, B, C, D. And so D is like the fugitive, where it's a fucking pedophile who plays with a child for way too long. And then he literally abducts that child and marries her. And that's the plot of the episode of the Twilight Zone, where people forget about this kind of episode because it's so fucking creepy. That it shouldn't be a Twilight Zone episode. It is disturbing, that episode. He steals a child and marries her.
And because we're movie dorks, we've recommended 2 or 3 way better movies that take this concept and are very much better developed than this one.
Are you a child? Because I swear a lot and I say horrible things. Please ask your dad if you're allowed to be in here. I just want to say that to cover myself.
You talking about the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s? Yeah. I don't hate it, but it's kind of one of those unnecessary things that just didn't need to happen.
It also has, bringing back our last episode of Tales from the Crypt, also has Dan Aykroyd in it, the movie. You want to see something really scary?
Yep.
He's a vampire.
Yep.
It's the only scary thing in the entire movie.
That is true, sir. That is true. Unless you don't find the monster on the airplane scary in that one.
It's not scary, but it is done a lot better than the episode was. And I like that episode. But the movie's done a lot better. It's Joe Dante, who's fucking awesome.
Yes, he is.
If you haven't seen both Gremlins movies, go watch them right now.
Oh, they're brilliant.
They're brilliant.
Gremlins 2, I think, is one of the most seriously underrated sequels out there, man.
I think Gremlins 2 is better than Gremlins 1.
It's way better. It is completely meta. It is making fun of everything, including itself, and I like that about it. It's a very smartly made sequel.
They make fun of the merchandise that the first movie made.
It makes fun of itself. Yeah.
Shirts and stuff, and it's great.
Joe Dante went for complete parody, and I got every single reference, and it was an absolute joy to watch. I hadn't seen that until I was older. I didn't see Gremlins 2 in the theaters when it came out. No, I kind of forgot about it, and then I watched it. I want to say in 2012, and I'm like, holy shit, this movie is like one of the best sequels I've ever seen, and I didn't realize it. And I found it's like I found a new movie. It was great.
Yeah, the first one I watched as a kid. The second one is the one I watched a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, when you're at that age, I'm pretty sure I confused the first two where I didn't know the difference. But I really enjoyed it because I remember the really snooty gremlin from the second one.
Yep.
In the chair.
Tony Randall. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one a lot. And I didn't realize there was 2 of them really until I got older. But I was like, oh, I like the first one, but I love the second one.
Your mind kind of blurs the two together. Yeah.
Frank said he's straight up in the ghetto. Okay. You're in Philadelphia. It's a shithole. Burn that city to the ground, Frank. Burn it to the ground.
You sure it's not? He's not just quoting like 90s song lyrics.
He's really in the Coolio this week.
You know,
Living in a gangster's paradise. I will stop before the YouTube.
yeah. Before the song censor comes and strikes my channel for singing "Gangsters."
If I manage to sing that song so well, it matches up with the YouTube patterns of the song. I kind of am proud of that, really. But chances are, since I'm tone deaf, there's nowhere I'll get nowhere near to that song.
Well, let me ask you this: when you're really drunk and high, and you feel like you want to listen to that song, do you listen to "Gangsters Paradise" or do you listen to "Amish Paradise"? Because I usually listen to "Amish Paradise."
When I'm really wanting what? Sorry. This isn't marijuana. This is just tobacco.
Yeah.
No, I do like Weird Al's Amish Paradise. I prefer Coolio's, if I'm being honest. I will admit to a bit of a Coolio obsession in my youth. Quite strong. I still know all the lyrics to Gangster's Paradise and something new and Too Hot, the AIDS song he did.
It's
Too hot, too hot.
Yeah, I remember that song.
1, 2, 3, 4. Get your booty on the floor. Gotta get up to get down. Let's stop talking about Coolio. Let's talk about Twilight.
Yeah.
This isn't way off topic radio. We're not a shit show. So,
Oh, that's a spicy meatball.
I'm waiting for Frank to respond to that one. I like this episode a little bit. I just say I have no idea what next week's episode is. The 7th is made up of phantoms. It's the second episode in a row with the number 7 in it. So we're going from Probe 7 over and out to the 7th is made up of phantoms. I have no idea.
Let's just pray it's not another biblical reference.
I hope not. Oh, God. I can't imagine the word phantom appears a lot in the Bible. But Frank, learn how to fucking spell. Learn how to spell. Scary does not have an E in it. God damn, dude.
Hey,
Anyway.
Adam and Phoenix, you want to see something really scurry?
Scary?
Scurry? Is that like Jim Scurry?
It's the
Yeah, starring Jim Scurry.
spelling comprehension of Coolio. So next week is the 7th is made up of phantoms. I don't know what it's about. I've seen it before because I've seen all of them, but I don't remember what it's about. And I'm kind of curious. So I will just say, check us back out on Adam's YouTube, Raiders of the Lost Flicks. If you're listening to the podcast, if you're here already, you know what we're doing. But next Tuesday, same time, same channel, all that sort of shit. Next Tuesday is going to be a double feature of 705 of Tales from the Crypt, Horror in the Night, and 509 Probe 7 over and out for Twilight Zone. Adam, since I don't have a bingo ball to draw like we did in Tales from the Crypt, you want to do your plugs?
Sure, yeah. Best way to find me is www.raidersoflostflicks.com. That's links to all my social medias, Instagrams, Twitters, Facebook, all that sort of thing. I have a live show every Friday night on my YouTube channel, and now we're doing his podcast, which is the Tales from the Crypt and the Twilight Zone, on this channel on Tuesday nights. So just look me at Raiders of the Lost Flicks on YouTube, like Phoenix just said. So
Oh, go fuck yourself, Adam.
Freudian slip, sorry.
Oh, fuck you. How dare you?
How dare you?
How
You find this man. You find
dare
him.
you? Yeah, go check him out. Frank is the usual shit he spouts out of his mouth hole is ISCP podcast, Red Dragons Radio, which is not shit. That's a great one that carries at this show. He also says something like LLNKZ or something on Twitter. Who gives a shit? He's not here. This is what you get if you're not here. I'm sorry, dude. He says, yeah, Philly smells bad. That's the only defense he has for himself. I will just say LIWstudios.com, which is a great site. Unlike there's a minimal Frank on there. Loitering in Wonderland on YouTube, Loitering in Wonderland Studios on Patreon, which you can get our Tales from the Crypt commentary reviews way early because we are like 6 or 7 weeks ahead of schedule. So this that you're watching right now on Adam's Facebook or YouTube page will not be available on our podcast feed until the very end of June. And right now it's May 5th. So We're really ahead of schedule on the show.
Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, we're recording. Adam's sober. I'm drinking a lot of wine. Frank's not fucking here. He's not fucking here. He's holding up his water over there.
He had a Cinco de Mayo arrangement.
Yeah. He has an emergency call at work, which is go get filled by 3 men. I don't know what the fuck Frank does for a living. I used to prostitute.
He got selected for glory hole duty.
Oh, it's a glorious duty. Like it's in the army. You're on glory hole duty, Sergeant. Ah, fuck. Okay. I love this country.
I would have told that astronaut to cut a hole in the side of his spaceship, but I'm afraid he would have hurt himself and accidentally cut his dick off doing that.
Or sparks would have got him.
You remember that part where he's got the sparks and oh, I wonder if that guy burned himself. It looked like he touched the damn sparks and put it out with his bare hand. Yeah.
He had gloves on.
Oh, okay. Bummer.
I was paying attention. He had gloves on. I thought.
Yeah. That's about as technical as that episode got, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's just say, go check out all that shit and check out all of our other shows. LIW, the TZ review, this one, LIW Tips from the Crypt review, Westworld, American Horror Story, Walking Dead, B-Movie Battle, NyQuil and Cocaine, which is coming back for this year. What else? What else do I want to pitch? I can't believe I'm so used to doing this show that I felt fuck you, Frank. That I felt
I like that video.
that I felt the hour mark coming up, because we're here right now at the hour mark, about to hit it. But I've done the show 165 times now, so I know when the hour mark's coming up. But Frank is talking about my Cats video for Things That Burn in Hell,
and it's not the Cats movie. It's just the animal cats in general. It just
I like cats.
His observations on cats, which anybody that makes jokes about cats, I find it funny. I don't dislike cats either. I am more of a dog person, but that's okay. It's a preference.
Dogs are outside right now, freaking out. I can hear them.
Yeah.
But I've been to friends' houses. The whole premise of that is I kept going to my friend's house from work, and she would be like, "So," I'm like, "What's that? Like it smells like a cat." Like nothing wrong with having cats. I get it, but I'm like, "What? Like what's going on with the cat?" There's a box there full of turds. Obviously, I assume that's cats. Otherwise, you're fucking weird and you need to use the bathroom more often. Why the fuck is there a cat box? I've been here a dozen times now. You don't have a cat. And she's like, "No, there's a cat." I'm like, "Why are you fucking with me?" And this is like 10 friends I've been over to their house and never seen their cat other than razors from below the couch. And I'm like, "Ah, fuck." And they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a cat." And I'm like, "Why didn't you warn me?"
Phoenix.
There's like a sniper with razors below the fucking couch.
Phoenix, it's because you have dogs, and cats don't like the smell of the dogs on your clothing.
Good. If they're that obsessed with dogs and like don't want to go near me because of the dogs, fuck them. Fuck cats. I like cats. I had cats growing up, but at this point in my life, if I have one kid and the smell of the other kid I had and it doesn't want to come near me? Fuck you, kid.
There's a part where you were talking about when cats like rub their face against, like they have some kind of weird sex gland in their face or some shit like that. In the movie Cats, the one that came out in 2019, the horrible Universal abomination that flopped at the box office, when those cats go to hug or kiss, they rub their faces against each other like cats do. It's really fucking
I just want to say release the butthole cut.
Yep. Hashtag release the butthole cut. Make this
cut.
a thing, please.
I want to see those cats, giant starfishes below their tails.
Yep.
I want to see, what the fuck is her name? Taylor
Rebel
Swift
Wilson. Yeah.
With a big fucking bright red swollen anus.
Rebel Wilson.
Rebel Wilson's would be so massive.
Dude, the reason I say that is because like very early on in the show, there's a part where you're introduced to Rebel Wilson and she's laying on her back, spread eagle, just rolling around on the floor with her fucking crotch hanging out in the breeze. If you put the butthole cut into that, it's going to have to change its rating to X for sure.
X for, it should be 2 X's because it's kind of a
double X's. Yeah,
double
X's. It's like an asterisk. Yeah.
Like an asterisk. Yeah. Oh, we should get out of here, right?
Yeah.
I'm making asshole puns. Let's get out of here. Adam, any parting words of wisdom I only do this with just you and me. Any parting words of wisdom or lessons you learned from Probe 7 over and out?
If you're going to do a biblical episode, don't treat your audience like they've never either A, never been to Sunday school, or B, never seen a science fiction movie or read a science fiction novel, or just basically read a novel in general. People are not as dumb as you think they are. That's all I'm going to say.
I learned that apparently Jordan Peele's 2019 remake of Twilight Zone somehow did an episode better.
Oof.
Bums me out.
Oof.
Because the episode 6 Degrees of Separation is better than this episode. It doesn't have all the biblical allegory bullshit, but it's a fairly decent episode about space travel and the world ending and the beginning. It's like the first 3/4 of this episode. It ignores all the landing and shit.
Oh, also I learned never hire your astronauts from a temp agency or your planet will go to world war.
A temp agency is like a great place to go after you get out of prison. So
yeah,
you don't want to hire astronauts out of that.
Don't go be an astronaut, especially if you're afraid of loneliness and isolation. Jesus Christ.
I also learned that apparently the Twilight Zone can handle multiple episodes where you think they came from Earth, but they came from somewhere else and landed on Earth. And that's the twist.
It's kind of like you're on season 5 now. How many times do you think you're going to get away with that joke? Like you've done it more than once now. It's been done way better in earlier episodes.
It happens in this one, The Invaders. It happens in, I forget the episode name, but where they land back on Earth. They left Earth and landed back on Earth, and he draws the electric poles, or the whatever those are called. My brain is failing me right now. I love that I can rant for 7 minutes straight at 600 words a second, but then I suddenly slow down and I forget one basic word. But that episode, it happens a bunch, and it's kind of like a Woody Allen thing where he's just trying to perfect the exact same thing over and over. And you're like, dude, just move on. It's fine. Just move on. You don't.
It's like Star Wars, the special edition.
Oh God. Or Ridley Scott's Blade Runner or The Exorcist. They have like 75 cuts of both those movies, and like, stop it! I can't take any more.
I have a Blade Runner Blu-ray with 5 different cuts on it. No bullshit.
Dawn of the Dead has 3 different cuts on the DVD. I don't need a European cut. Why?
The only cut I want is the butthole cut of Cats.
Release the butthole cut.
Make this happen. Give the audiences what they want, Universal, since theaters aren't going to show your movies anymore.
Fucking Universal. But yeah, I learned a lot in this episode. I learned too much. And let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Until next time. And in the meantime, thanks for watching on YouTube. I assume most people are going to watch after, considering the low turnout for the live. But I appreciate you watching later. Subscribe to LoiteringInWonderland YouTube. Subscribe to Raiders of the Lost Flicks on YouTube. Hit that.
All of the links are in the description to our shows and channels.
Do you want to play that little clip there real quick?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I will do that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Connor. I was talking over it because you can hear it on my end, and they'll hear me over that on the podcast end. We got 2 things going on here, and it's very confusing. But until next time, in the meantime, I'm Phoenix West.
And I'm Adam Wilcox.
We'll see you next week with Frank Links back on the show. We have one more person talking. Sorry, real quick. Hey, guys, what's up in the U.S.? Well, we have a lot of debt to China. It's getting in the trillions. We have a mixed relationship in South America. We set up a lot of dictators that took over the countries and will not release the power. They moved on since, but they've all been assassinated by their own people, and they took over. We still have government backing, and Ollie North kind of fucked over everything, and he left, and Reagan kicked him out, and now he's on Fox News. Adam, what else we got going on in the U.S.?
We also have the fact that toilet paper is worth more than a barrel of oil over here.
We got that going on. We can't find toilet paper anywhere. There's coronavirus. I haven't noticed it personally. I don't leave the house anyway because I'm severely injured. Adam the same way. Frank the same way, although he's at work right now. We also got like reality TV that's kind of ruined our way of life and moralities. We got music that is garbage and not really. It's just created on a computer. Nobody plays an instrument. We got movies that Hollywood makes the dog shit movies, and B movies like independent movies are better movies now that look better than actual Hollywood movies.
We have movies that not only not sell here, they don't sell overseas either.
Yeah, and we also have a declining dollar that is just plummeting at an extreme rate. But since the rest of the world is too, because they're in economic collapse as well due to the coronavirus, we're kind of staying ahead of the curve, really. But also we have a ineffectual leadership that is not helping us battle the coronavirus. We have no idea what our actual numbers are. Death tolls is at 65,000 as of Sunday, but really it's probably double that because we're not looking into how many actual numbers there are. But yeah, in the U.S., that's what's going on here.
Well, you take care of yourself too. Appreciate that.
Oh, you two take care through the virus. I thought you said we could take care of the virus. I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to fight the virus.
No, we haven't fired the virus yet. We're trying to find a way. We haven't quite gotten there.
Okay, cool.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. Peace out.
So long, citizens.